Hey guys, what's up? It's Jazzy Josh here with the first episode of Tattooed Attitude. Yes, I finally got my own show on the Talking Crap podcast. After a very long year of bringing in people for their own shows and me not getting one, I have my own show. As you can see, for the first episode, I'm joined by none other than Billy Haze.
Hello, how are you?
Oh my God, someone that doesn't just say hello. Like, if you've ever watched the main podcast, you'll just get people go, hi, hello.
I always find it really awkward because, like, it's just where I'm from, and people, like, to be honest, where I'm from, hello just like how are you just means hello.
Yeah.
So it doesn't actually. It's not actually a question. If you answer it, then everyone's like, "What the fuck are you on about? Like, why are you answering my question of how are you?" But like, it's just something I'm like is ingrained in me now to be like, "Oh, hi, how are you?"
Yeah,
like, I don't expect anyone to answer.
Whenever I'm at work, no one says hello in the building. It's always, "You're right." I think that's just an Essex thing, though.
Yeah. I think it's like East London, like kind of Essex, like thing. You right? Yeah.
It's like no hellos. I think it's because hello gets boring after a while.
Yeah.
But then you just say you're all right all the time. But the thing with that is you can get a different answer every time.
You never.
So makes the day interesting.
Yeah.
So that being said, obviously you're a pro wrestler. You're the second pro wrestler we've had on the episode lined up. Second pro wrestler we've had lined up. Oh, I just did a section again. It's the issue with recording episodes like in advance is there's always going to be a crossover.
Yeah.
Right. Anyway, so obviously you're a pro wrestler, as people that follow the podcast all know. I'd be worried if they didn't know, considering we're a wrestling podcast.
You'd hope.
But the whole concept of this show is that we're going to be branching out of wrestling and into the real world. Ironic, considering our first guest is a pro wrestler. But when you're making a tattoo show, you can't think of anyone else other than Billy Haze. Let's be honest. Someone with possibly the most unique tattoos in pro wrestling today.
Oh, that's a compliment. I'll take that.
Which kind of leads on to my first question. Like, obviously, your tattoos do stand out a fair amount.
Yeah.
So that being said, would you say they're all tailored to you?
Yeah, like I always whenever like you always get the question like what's your favorite and everything. I can never make a decision because
it's different every day.
Not because it's different every day. Like whenever I get a tattoo, it feels like it's supposed to be there.
Yeah.
Like I never I don't look in the mirror and go, oh, that's a cool tattoo. Like it feels like it's just supposed to be there. So it's like it's like picking a favorite son. Like I can't like it's just what my skin is. Like
it's not that you can't, it's that you shouldn't.
Yeah.
No, my favorite tattoo of mine is always the next one I get. It's always the newest one.
Yeah.
I don't know why, but I think it's just because it's new. Are you like, oh my God, I haven't had this before? Because after a while, you
start looking at it and you're like, oh.
You get used to your tattoos after a while. Like people like, when I got my first one, I forgot about it a lot. I'd wake up the next morning and go, oh, Jesus. But I'll tell you one that I always forget.
Can't rub it off.
I've got one on the back of my neck that I always forget about. Oh, your camera's not happy.
Yeah, I know. Slowly.
It got worse as your hand moved away.
Yeah, I know. It'll figure itself out in a second. Sometimes it's just like, because I just lifted my arm up, it was like, focus on that instead.
So I take it it's not a normal webcam then?
It's one of those Logitech ones. Like it's just the ones that are like these are the best for streaming, but like
it's like they are, so long as you don't move too much.
Yeah. Like you can't like autofocus or anything. It's just awful. I want I'm like trying to sort out like a proper camera for like streaming and everything.
I keep meaning to get even just a cheap DSLR camera will do with a HDMI input.
Yeah.
Well, input, because then capture card. Anyway, I digress. I normally ask the hardest question, what's your favorite one? But you've already said you don't have a favorite because you can't have a favorite. But how about we just go through your tattoos to start with?
Okay.
Or as many as we can fit on camera.
So I'll tell you the theme if that doesn't overlap with any questions that are going to come up in future.
We'll find out.
I can tell. So like, I've kind of got a theme going of what I like and what I have. So my left arm is everything I enjoy from my childhood. So it's like all like things I just enjoy, like things I like. So if my camera would actually focus, or I can go closer where it actually is in focus, I've got like Rick and Morty. I've got like Pokemon, wrestling, like all sorts like that. A load of family pieces.
That's my next one, the turnbuckles.
Yeah.
Because I've always got the hat on.
My second, yeah. That was literally my second tattoo. I was like, yeah, I'm wrestling. Like, I need it.
I've seen a lot of wrestlers with turnbuckles.
Yeah, loads.
I think that's
like,
a common theme.
Yeah.
Mine's going behind my ear.
Oh, that's cool. That's cool.
And that's the only head one I'm getting.
Oh, I'm not with you on that boat. I've got one behind my ear and I'm going all the.
I've got one on the back of my neck, and I was like, that's the highest I'm going to go.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh, but that one will work so well there, so I'm getting it there.
And then you're like, oh, just on the forehead there.
I don't think I'll go for the face.
Yeah.
Because naturally my face isn't the best anyway, so I don't want to ruin it even more. Not necessarily ruin it, but
it might make it better.
You never know. You never know. Yeah, I just can't think of any that would work on my face.
Yeah.
I don't have that kind of
But yeah, like I'm getting. This is all like stuff I enjoy. So it's like all like gaming references, look, Scrappy Doo, Daruma doll from like Japanese culture, like all sorts of stuff like that. Like
that is a very popular Japanese themed tattoo, and
yeah,
I think that's the only kind of Japanese tattoo that isn't in the Japanese style, really.
Yes,
because you look at Japanese style tattoos and they have a very artful, a very specific art form, whereas the Daruma doll has its own style.
It's because the Japanese style doesn't incorporate the Daruma doll in any of the art styles, because it's mostly about mythology and everything, and like this symbol means this and this symbol means that. Like a koi fish means that you've gone through change in your life and stuff like that.
Being
Whereas,
the most popular tattoo, I think. Ironically, because I don't think anyone gets it for its meaning.
No.
That's my biggest issue with a lot of popular tattoos these days, is they no longer have the meaning they used to have.
I have such a pet peeve of lions, roses, and clocks.
I'm not going to show you my arm then. I've got a rose, but there's a reason for it.
Yeah, but like it's like it's the one thing that, like, if you ever go to like a tattoo artist, you're like, what are you fed up of doing? And they're like, lions, roses, and clocks. They're the three things instantly, because everyone's like, oh yeah, I want a lion because I'm more of like an alpha male. I'm assertive. And then it's like, oh yeah, I got this rose because it flowed with the arm and the piece. And then time, because time's always meaningful. And it's like, everyone's got that, man.
I got a rose because I really like the style I saw it in, and I have a sister called Rosie. Like,
if someone just went to me, I like roses, that's the reason I got a rose, I'll instantly be like, okay, cool, fair enough. But when people are like, they try and find like, oh yeah, like it's got this like special meaning. So like when my third nan's great uncle died, they had a rose in their hand, and it's like, come on, man.
It's like, we all know that's a lie.
It's not that deep. It's not that deep.
I did lie. I didn't get it because I have a sister called Rosie. I just happened to have a sister called Rosie. When I got it done, I was that makes sense.
That's cool.
when I was getting it done, I was like, wait, if I come home with a rose, my sister's going to think it's for her.
Yeah.
And then my other sister called Lily is going to go,
he's going to get offended.
What about me? So I also got a Lily next to it. But that was like smaller behind here. I'm not sure if you can see.
I've got a Lily there.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Lilies do come out quite nice in tattoos.
Yeah. The only problem with them is the like pink colouring. Like the exact fade of colour is very similar to the skin colour. So
that's why I didn't get pink. That's why I got like an orangey kind of tone.
The guy did pink on mine, but it's like, you can't see it. It's pretty much gone.
Yeah, I did have, the like pollen-y bits in the middle.
Yeah.
They were yellow.
Yeah.
Now they've just kind of faded to nothing. But I got them touched up and just had them all black, so they were still there, but they didn't look crap because they were faded. But I did have them originally with all the cherry blossom up here.
Yeah.
As you can see, I've started a small cover up, less of a cover up, and more of a put something there so it draws your eye away from it.
Yeah.
But then I got it all big and done here because I saw this metallic rose tattoo and I was like, I love that.
That's cool. Yeah.
So I tried to get it done in a slightly less metallic, but still that kind of aggressive style. And then I was like, do you know what? Why don't I just, because I already had the rose and lily there. So I was like, why don't I just take that and take the cherry blossom and stick the cherry blossom there as well? Yeah. So otherwise it just looked a bit odd. And I was like, well, I've got a gap here. So I stuck poppies there. And now we've named our dog Poppy.
I mean, you've made a meaning for it. It didn't have one. You made one. Like, no, this is what it means now. Like you're like, oh, what should we name the dog? Oh, I need a meaning for this one. So name it Poppy.
No, we like our family's always kind of been not associated, but we've always kind of recognized poppies because my uncle, my dad, my mum, and me are all supporters of Help for Heroes. Yeah. And obviously Help for Heroes is synonymous with poppies, so we just kind of got an addiction to poppies. And I was like, well, I've got a space for more flowers. Why don't I put poppies there? Kind of makes sense. And the cherry blossoms, I just really like cherry blossoms. I think it looks nice as a tattoo.
Yeah.
It's not finished yet. It's all going down my hand.
I'm trying to think of all the plans that I've got. Like I'm gonna end up covered. Like I've even got plans for like my face and stuff, but I'm gonna end up covered. Like, but I have made a promise to my mum that I would wait till she's dead before I get anything done on my face.
That's fair. That's fair.
She was like, I'm not going to talk you out of it, but please wait till I'm dead. And I'm like, you know
so
what?
I don't have to talk you out of it.
Yeah. I was like, I'll let you have this one.
No, this one I'm probably not going to get finished for a very long time. The tattoo artist that did it moved up north.
Fair.
And I feel like it would be disloyal to not have her finish it.
Yeah. I get that. I get that, but I've never done it. But I completely I understand it because whenever you get a tattoo, there's like a slight connection with who you're getting a tattoo with, isn't there? Yeah. And I always try and remind, whenever I have conversation with people, I always try and remind them there are other tattoo artists, but if most people have it set in their head no, I need to get it done by this person because they started it and they've especially with flowers and stuff, there's so many different styles and ways to do it. It's hard to be okay, I'm going to go to this new artist that probably has a different way to do flowers that probably not look the same. And it probably, no one else will notice apart from you. You're the only one that will notice.
They'll try and replicate it, but there's going to be that subtle difference.
And everyone else that sees it will be like, oh, that's really cool, piece. But you'll be like, oh yeah, that's slightly different to that. And
but it's half right and half still right but wrong. For me, it's more of a moral thing.
Yeah,
it's you started this, you had to finish it, kind of thing. And to be fair, I know exactly what I'm getting done. I'm going to have a lotus flower here. And there are going to be vines connecting this piece to that piece, and then vines down my fingers.
Sick.
I'm not sure if you've seen Jeff Hardy's tattoos.
Yeah.
With the tree all going down his arm, down his fingers. It's kind of, that was the idea.
Yeah.
Not roots.
Not that.
Well, it would be roots, but it wouldn't be tree roots.
Yeah. And
I just saw that and thought that's a good idea.
They'll be more free flowing than jaggy, because it's roots and vines and everything that are quite free flowing rather than roots that are quite stiff and rigid. Yeah,
I've just got to try and figure out a way to have them be on the back side and not have to go on the front side, because I have no issue with hand tattoos, but I don't like the way they look after a while, because worst place for them to heal. How badly is that healed?
So I'm the worst for it, because my tattoo artist, he goes to me is okay, I'll do it, but you need to not use your hand for 5 days. And I'm like, cool, I can do that. Next day I have a wrestling show, and I'm like, I obviously have to use my hand. Why did I agree to this? And every time he's gone to like touch it up or something, and he's gone like, oh yeah, make sure you don't use your hand. Remember not to use your hand. And like every bit's like healed fine. Like all of this has healed fine. But this bit, there's such a thick layer of skin. Like when he tattoos it, I can't feel it.
Oh really?
There's such a thick layer of skin in this part of my hand that I don't think it just goes through enough. I don't know if it's my hands. It does
kind of feel quite, doesn't it?
Yeah.
I suppose it's because your hands get used a lot.
Yeah.
Especially the insides.
There's a tattoo artist at the moment that's in New Cross, and he's becoming very synonymous with hand tattoos and making them stick. Like people, like I went to a tattoo shop in Cardiff and I was talking to him about hand tattoos, and then he named this guy that I knew that's like round the corner, and he's becoming like synonymous with hand tattoos. Like people are like, oh yeah, he can somehow make them stick. Like something he does makes them stay, and he can put color in them. Like everything that people tell you you're not supposed to do with hand tattoos, he can, which is kind of a like weird thing.
I mean, there's always going to be something that makes a tattoo artist kind of stick out.
Yeah.
Like they're always going to get really good at something. Like they can be the best all arounder there is, but there's going to be that one thing that they stand out for.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure he solely does palm tattoos now because he's become so synonymous with it. Like all he does is palm tattoos, which is mental. Because I wouldn't think there's that many people that want palm tattoos.
No, I personally won't go anywhere near my palms because I don't know about you, but I use my hands a lot. Yeah, especially working in a nightclub and running and like working in production. I need them. How can I go 5 days without them? Like, and I'm also worried that I'll end up ruining the tattoos. It's like, why would I want to ruin a tattoo? But this one is going to be the worst.
Oh yeah, knuckles are bad.
They're bending all the time.
Yeah, knuckles are bad. Like these like little digits and in between them are fucking rough. Like I hate the inside of my wrists. Absolutely hate it. Like they're the worst tattoos I've ever had. But the close second is inside the knuckles, like in between and everything.
The worst I've had
joints
was just inside the crease of the elbow.
Yeah, that's
one line, the most painful line I've ever sat through. Like lines are bad, but that was worse.
Fucking rough, yeah.
Like I thought, like on the elbow would be bad, but I didn't get that close to it. Like I definitely wasn't far off.
I'm getting my elbow done next weekend.
What are you getting?
So there's like, not like the traditional spider web. I don't want that.
Do you know why people get spider webs on the elbows? Because they're quick.
That makes sense.
It's a way of cheating it.
That means my decision is even worse because like those really like sketchy spider webs that you see like tattooed and everything, like the really gothic style. I want to get that coming off my elbow with like a spider going down it or something like that.
Well, yeah, they're going to be relatively thick lines, aren't they?
Yeah, and there's going to be loads of lines instead of like this nice smooth line. The thing is, I don't like the traditional ones because it's just like load. It looks really clean,
and it's everywhere.
Yeah,
like everyone gets them because people know that elbows are the worst. Maybe not the worst, but like they're the worst. Yeah, they're one of the worst places to get a tattoo.
Yeah,
they're the worst on the arms for sure.
100%.
Like, I don't even know what I'm going to get done on the elbows. It won't be a spider web because I feel like spider webs are just so common.
Yeah,
like,
I saw.
That's why I like your idea where it's still a spider web, but it's different.
Yeah, I saw like someone do like a traditional mandala on their elbow. Oh, it was so beautiful. But I looked at it and I was like, that's fucking painful. That's so painful. I hate color. Absolutely hate it with a passion. Like, give me fucking black shading or like just black fill out all day. As soon as you get like a red ink or like a fucking yellow or anything near me, it fucking hurts.
Now, this actually leads on to our next question.
Ooh.
I say question. This is the one and only segment we have. Now, this is tattoo, myth or fact.
Mm.
I'm going to ask you a question. Is it a myth or is it a fact?
Okay.
So, seeing as you just talked about colours, tell me this. Is this a myth or is it a fact? Colour tattoos hurt more than black and grey.
Fact, but there's varying factors into like every tattoo. Like if I'm getting tattooed with red pigment rather than blue, then it's going to hurt less than black and grey. If that makes sense.
It's actually a myth. The idea that coloured inks hurt more than black inks is actually a myth. The reason that subjectively it hurts more isn't because it's a colour.
Oh, I know. Yeah.
It's because you've already just been sat there being poked with a needle hundreds of thousands of times. So, of course, the skin's going to be sensitive.
So I've heard a different reason. So what I've heard is different colours take to different pigments of skin quicker.
Yeah,
so
I think it could just be a case of like obviously getting the what's the word? Getting the concentration. That's not the word, but there's definitely a word for it. Which essentially is just getting the colours stick. Obviously, certain colours are going to be harder to get more, but they don't hurt more because of the colour, though.
No, it's because it just takes more work to get them in. Yeah,
it hurts more because they have to go over the same spot multiple times. It's not the actual ink itself; it's the fact that it won't stay. That's why white is the worst. White or yellow are the worst colours to get tattooed.
See, my camera's gone weird again. I've never had a problem with white, and I've had white in quite a few tattoos. And worst bit, it's the bit that I can kind of relax on because I know the tattoo's ending soon, so I can kind of be like, oh yeah, we're going to be done soon, so I don't have to worry about this white piece of ink that I've got.
I've just noticed that none of the white that I've ever gotten tattooed has stayed, or yellow.
Unless you get sunburnt, then it comes up.
Yeah,
I've got a white line going along my arm, round and everything, and you can't see it unless I get sunburnt, and then like you'll see the white line exactly.
It's gonna bug me because I know the word for when you try and get colour to stick, but I can't think of it off the top of my head. There's an actual term for it.
Yeah, I've heard it, but like I'm not. I wouldn't be able to tell you what it is. Like if I was a word man, I wouldn't be in wrestling.
Oh, this is true. None of us in wrestling are, except for the commentators.
Yeah, they're word men.
That's kind of our jobs. So this is going to be a very common question in the world of tattooing. How old were you when you got your first one?
16.
16.
In Portugal with parents' permission. So technically legal, but not in the UK.
Legal there.
Legal there.
Not here.
But not here.
I think that law has changed in the last few years. I think you can now get a tattoo at 16 with parents' permission.
Has it?
But I think it's down to the tattoo artist's discretion.
That makes sense.
Like if they're willing to do it, they'll do it. If they're not, they're not. But what was your first one then?
It was one on my side.
Right.
Like a very to be honest, I rushed into my first tattoo. Like we found a tattoo shop on holiday, and I was like, I really want a tattoo, and I started bugging my parents about it, and I really bugged them about it to the point where they were like, "You're not gonna if we don't let you get a tattoo, you're just gonna go find somewhere to get a tattoo in England that's probably illegal, aren't you?" And I was like, probably. So they're like, okay, let's make sure you do it properly and legally, and so we can be there and we can so we can go through the process with you. So the day of the tattoo, we were sitting in the restaurant food area, and they're we were going through a load of ideas, and I was like, I don't really know. I knew that I wanted to get covered in tattoos from a very young age, but I've never thought about what they are.
Yeah.
So I was like, should I get something to do with family? Should I not? What should I get? And I kind of we kind of all came up with the idea of getting the Celtic sign for Leo with with a very popular name, Balor, underneath, with an I in it because of the story of Balor. And I didn't get Balor because Balor's a professional wrestler.
Yeah.
I got Balor because my nan used to tell me the story of Balor and the Demon King when I was younger. And
which ironically is where Finn Balor got his name from.
Ironically, yeah. And it's so annoying because, like, no word of a lie, I've lost bookings with very important companies because of my tattoo saying Balor. And like, I can't explain it to them because I've only heard it through what, like, other people that, like, oh yeah, they said that they won't book you because of that tattoo, and I'm like, oh, it's not even for him. Just understand.
I got it done before that was his name.
I'm like sitting there like, God damn it. But
he probably would have been Fergal Devitt around that time.
He was.
Or Prince Devitt?
It was literally like a couple weeks before he went to NXT.
Oh Christ!
So it like the timing was awful.
Just terrible. Oh
yeah,
dear.
Absolutely awful. But yeah, that was my first.
I think that's one of the controversial issues that have always been around with tattoos is like you're never going to get a job if you've got tattoos, or if you've got tattoos showing. It's like technically that's not true.
Yeah,
it's dependent on the tattoo that you've got.
Yeah.
Like if you had a Nazi symbol on your hand, you're not going to get a job.
Yeah, you're not getting a job.
But there are certain tattoos that are still kind of frowned upon. And on the topic of tattoo criticisms, have you ever been kind of looked at differently for specific tattoos that you've got, other than the Balor one? Because we all know that promoters apparently don't like Balor tattoos anymore.
Apparently. The thing with like, I look weird. So it's very hard for me to like tell like,
are they looking at me funny because I'm me? Are they looking at me funny because of that tattoo on my arm?
Well, I don't notice it anymore. Like I'm sure if you asked me when I was like 17, I would be able to give you like loads of different instances of when it's happened. But honest to God, I do not notice it to the point where like I would be out with my mates and like we'll be walking along and I'll be like, did you just notice that person just staring at you? And I'll be like, no, I don't.
No, yay, attention.
I was like, I'll be like, what? Did they? What? Why? Like, I just wouldn't get it, and like, kind of keeps happening to this day. Like, I went out for a photo shoot the other day, and like, we were like, bearing in mind when I go out for photo shoots, I'm wearing like fucking the most ridiculous thing that I can find. So it's like me and like
anyone that's seen your Instagram will agree with that.
Yeah, like I go for like the most ridiculous thing, and like. My mate was like, do you not notice anyone staring at you? And I was like, no. He was like, because like I can count at least like 15 people that have like stared at you as we walk past. Have you noticed any of them? And I was like, maybe like one or two that have like walked in front of me and directly looked me in the eyes and gave me a dirty look. But apart from that, not really.
No, like, it's one of those things where if you've got things that will make you stand out on a daily basis, you're going to get not necessarily numb to it, but you're going to get used to it. So you kind of just don't pay attention.
Yeah. I notice it more whenever I'm back at home in London than when I'm in Cardiff.
Well, yeah, because in London you have to worry about getting stabbed.
Like, it's a bit of that, but it's like also a bit of like childhood Billy being like, oh, like, do they recognize you from school? Do I want to hide myself because they recognize me from like my past and my school and everything, or do I want to, or is it fine because they're just looking at me because of my tattoos and everything?
Yeah, no.
Like, I don't know what they're looking at me for, so I'm a bit more self-conscious about
that. Obviously you can't read their mind, so you're never going to know. But I suppose that is a thing. Like if you're at home, obviously there are people that probably still live there that would recognize you from yesteryears. Oh, there we go.
It worked.
We got one this time.
I was like, I'll see if this works this time.
Oh, so are there any tattoos that like your parents have been a bit iffy with?
My knuckles, Oh, very
But I think
be
that's
getting
just
my
because
knuckles
it's
done.
on your knuckles.
Yeah, it wasn't like the tattoo itself. It was because
Yeah.
it was on my knuckles.
My mum's adamant, no, I'm not getting them done on my fingers, but I'm adamant I am.
Like with my ones, I got them done in a very sketchy shop, and like they're not done properly and everything. And that's because my parents were so annoyed at me. They were like, "You're not getting your knuckles done. You're not getting your knuckles done." And I kind of went out to this shop like fucking teenage Billy being annoyed, going, "No, I'm gonna get them done." And I just went into the first shop I could and got them done. Like I love them, but it's ones that I'm like, oh, I wish I just waited like an extra week and went to an actual tattoo shop, like one that's actually good.
So I wish I did this right.
Yeah, but like my parents are like, fine, like that, like. With like being through all the shit that I've put them through the years, they've kind of came to the conclusion of like, we can't fucking stop you. So
We might as well just agree.
yeah, like the more we go, oh, you probably shouldn't do that, the more you're gonna do it. So like, let's not bother telling you that you shouldn't do something.
It's like no, it's like at least we can kind of make sure he does it right.
Yeah. Like instead of now being like, oh, like don't do that. It's like, oh, like make sure you go somewhere really good or like somewhere nice. Like if I give like a really bad idea, and then instead of being like, no, don't do that, they'll be like, oh, like if you're gonna do that, make sure you go to like a really good artist and like ask them their opinion or something like that. They'll sway me away from it without swaying me away from it. That's something that
at least the tattoo artist can tell you what you should and shouldn't do.
Yeah. I mean, some do. So some do. If I walk down the corner and go to my nearest tattoo shop, they're definitely not going to. But if I go to like an actual good professional, they'll be like, this might not be a good idea. Like, I'll do it because I'm the best person to do it. But this, you should probably get something else. Because like the thing that tattoo artists realize as well is like, if they're not doing it, then I'm going to go down the road and get it done by someone else if I really want it.
Yeah.
And that would be 10 times shitter than if they did it. So like a lot of good artists would be like, I'll do it, but you probably shouldn't.
Yeah, they're at least going to polish the turd.
yeah. They're going to make it look good, even though it's a shit tattoo. They're going to make it look good.
Yeah, that's the thing. Like, there are tattoos nowadays that they're either really, really bad just because they're a bad idea, or they're really, really bad because everyone gets them. Like, I'm going to say something that's quite controversial now, but very, very true. If you have a black and grey line on your hand, you are probably a wanker. Like, let's be honest.
I'm gonna second that opinion.
Why does every guy have a black and grey line? But they're always got the eyes coloured.
Yeah, the eyes are
always coloured.
They're always blue. Always.
Why? Why can't you just be different? Because they've got
really nice blue eyes, and they want everyone to know that they've got nice blue eyes.
No one gets tattoos. Well, there are a lot of people, but majority of people never get tattoos to be unique. They just get tattoos because they want a tattoo. I don't know about you, but not a single one of my tattoos is anyone else going to have.
No, a couple of mine people are going to have, but only because I got them done on flash days. Like, they're very much tattoos that I know.
This jigsaw piece is a flash piece. It's a little country and western scene. However, it's not the exact one that was on there.
Yeah.
Like, I've got a couple that other people might get, but they've all got a personal tweak on them.
Yeah. I've all of my tattoos I've hand drawn myself and given to an artist.
I haven't hand drawn any of them. I can't draw.
But like that's my way of being like, this I know I like. It's kind of my own thing, but it's not at the same time. Like
I drew it, therefore it's mine.
Yeah,
kind of thing. This one I can half say that. Like, I can safely say no one has this tattoo the way I've got it. The skyline.
Yeah,
that was my most recent one. Like, I can at least say that no one else has it like I've got it.
Yeah,
because it's literally on top of my first tattoo, which is the black band underneath.
Yeah.
That was my first one, and then I was like, do you know what? I really want a silhouette of a skyline, and I thought it would really fit well on top of a black band. Ooh.
I mean, yeah.
I keep forgetting how badly done my first one was. Like, look how rough that is. Like, it's so patchy and just not straight.
You went for an awful first one of being like, let's go straight line around my arm. That's already like a danger. It's instant.
Like, the story behind it is good, but
yeah,
the execution is poor. I don't know if it's just because of where it is, or
it's so hard to do straight lines.
Yeah, like I didn't
So
go to an actual tattoo artist. I went to someone that was doing it as a hobby.
Yeah.
So that was probably my mistake. But if it makes myself feel any better, which it does, it was only 25 quid.
I mean,
so I can't complain that much. Like, I feel as though
anyone that's watching, don't do this. But 25 quid tattoo, I respect it.
I feel like I got value for money though. Don't. Let's be honest. Like, I paid a little and I got a little.
You got what you paid for.
Yeah,
you got what you paid for.
I can't complain that much about the quality of it. Like, but that being said, we've been recording for a while now, so the last thing I'm going to ask you is, this is the kind of question that isn't about you, but it's about your opinion. Mm-hmm. So normally I'd say, if you could pick a celebrity, what celebrity would you pick tattoo wise? However, I'm going to specify for wrestlers, because that way there's a few less thousand options.
Yeah.
When it comes to pro wrestlers, other than yourself, who has your favorite tattoos?
Okay. I'm gonna go with my the first thing that came to mind, even though I might if I had a couple seconds to think about it, I might come up with another. But first one that comes to mind is Ashmore. Kyle Ashmore. He has really nice tattoos.
Yeah.
I really like his tattoos. And he spoke to me about a lot of them, so I know about his tattoos. But first one that comes to mind is Ashmore.
Kyle Ashmore, one of those wrestlers that, unless you watch the indies, you probably haven't seen.
No.
But that doesn't matter, because I'm going to stick the pictures of his tattoos on the screen anyway, so you can see what we're talking about. Yeah, I think Kyle Ashmore is a pretty good option, to be fair. Like, if we were talking mainstream, I'd be looking more towards either Aleister Black or Randy Orton.
Yeah, I would go with Punk if we were going mainstream.
Punk has some of the most unique tattoos in WWE history.
Stick and poke, here's just random things that I like. It's literally the complete thing that I do with tattoos.
Yeah.
I just like that, so I got it.
Odds and sods that you're into. Well, Jeff Hardy, I mentioned earlier, he has some solid tattoos, especially if we're going down the road of unique.
Yeah, and artists and everything, really good.
To be fair, if you're in WWE, like it is, you don't have bad tattoos. Or you won't have noticeably bad tattoos.
Braun Strowman.
What one are we thinking?
The weird thing on his arm that's like the Superman, but also the random.
Oh yeah, I didn't think of that.
He's the only one that comes to mind that I'm like, I hate that tattoo. I absolutely but the on average, quite high.
I think actually talking about it, the only tattoo I didn't like from WWE was the Rock's Brahma ball that he used to have.
That was
because it was just so it's not necessarily the tattoo itself I didn't like, but it was the placement, because it was tiny on these massive biceps. I'm like, what were you thinking?
It's so synonymous now that it's kind of gone past the point of being bad. It is a bad tattoo, but it's so synonymous and it's so The Rock. But it's I'm not going to tell him that it's a bad tattoo, because he'll beat the fuck out of me.
Well, On the upside, he's fixed it now and he's got a gigantic Brahma
Yeah.
ball on his arm now. It's like, that fits your bicep better.
That's it.
Right, anyway, we are out of time. Thanks for joining me, Billy.
Thank you.
In episode 2, we're going to see... I know I said we're not using pro wrestlers as much, but episode 2 has another pro wrestler. We've got Progress star Danny Black joining us in the next episode. Another guy with ridiculously unique tattoos. So we're going to have to see what he has to say in the next one. But once again, thanks for joining me, Billy Haze. And I will see you guys in the next one. Take it easy.